Taking out walls was not on my schedule today. This is the master bathroom. It is a little dated for my taste, and the floors, I don't like the color. And if you think that I'm covering nice wood floors, this is linoleum. It's not real wood, so don't come at me. My plan is to install vinyl plank flooring right over the old vinyl sheets since the floor is still in pretty good shape. The bathroom's not that big, so this should take about 1 or 2 days, tops. This took 5 days. But what's really going to be challenging is all these angles and little awkward spots. Like, look at this corner, look at this little gap between the vanity and the tub. Like, those are challenging spots. I've done floors before, but every time I run into a weird shape, I struggle. So let's see if I can get through this weirdly shaped bathroom. Yeah, there's a leak. Crap. The first thing I'm gonna do is remove this toilet because the floors go under the toilet. Turning off the water, and I'm getting rid of the water by flushing it. All right, then my plan is just to take out the rest of the water with a sponge. All right, now to take it off, I gotta remove these little nuts over here, and that should take it off. Okay, right, left. They're a little rusty, so I think I'm gonna have to get new ones. I am actually gonna hire a plumber to reinstall the toilet because I don't trust myself to do it, but I think I can handle taking it off. Well, toilet is out. I do need to move it inside the tub so that it's out of the way. I need another rag. I'll be back. And I need Tony. Tony! The goal is to put the toilet in here. I'm gonna try to do it in one piece, but if it's too heavy, then I'll take it apart.
For the record, I think this is a bad idea.
Do you have a better idea?
No.
3.
Oh, it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be, actually.
Okay, let me place it on here, and then I'm gonna get in here. And do not let go until it touches the floor. Okay. Huh?
Hey, we did it!
Who says it was a bad idea? This is disgusting. This gooey nasty stuff I'm pulling out is the wax ring. It basically keeps the toilet sealed, making sure it doesn't leak or let the nasty smells come out. I think this is gonna work because the flange has enough wiggle room for me to run the floors under without having to cut it and install a new one. This has been the most challenging layout I've ever done. Most rooms are just a simple rectangle with a few door jambs to work around, and that's about it. This bathroom though, it's like if California and New Mexico had a baby. It's got angles, weird little cuts, just all over the place. So I'm doing a little pre-planning, measuring everything out to make sure I don't end up with those little bitty skinny strips at the end of the walls. I try to keep those at least 2 inches wide, just because when they're super skinny, they're a pain to lock in. I also gotta make sure the floor lines up nice around the flange because I'm gonna have to cut 2 separate pieces to fit around it. And as the experienced YouTuber that I am, I didn't hit record when I took out the first piece of baseboard that was very moldy. So then I decided to start taking some of the wall out and check for a leak. I want to take the whole wall off because that's a lot of moisture and I have a bad feeling that there might be a leak behind this. The trim by the shower, like I just know that the water splashes outside sometimes, you know, when you get out of the shower or whatever, and that's how that just goes like, you know, just like expands because it's MDF. But we don't use this that much. So for this whole trim to be like this, I think we have a bigger problem. And I just would feel more comfortable if I could look behind. Taking out walls was not on my schedule today. Ouch. Yeah, there's a leak. crap. So you can see the leak like right there. So that's the leak. You can also like see those lines there. That looks like there might have been water sitting there at some point. It's a good thing we don't use this tub very much. And the linoleum goes all the way through, so the subfloor is protected. I'm not worried about the subfloor. This shouldn't be too bad of a damage. I probably do have to change that 2x4, that wall. This was supposed to be just a flooring video. So that was all I was gonna do. You see my bedroom back there? That's what I'm actually working on. I'm waiting on drywall to dry because I had to do multiple coats. And in between coats, I'm like, let me just lay the floors in the bathroom. You know, because it would take me a day or two. Now I don't even know what to do. Like, what the hell? I am gonna take that wood out, but I'm gonna spray it with some mold killing stuff. It's not working. Come on. Oh my goodness. Why is this bottle so... Let me see if I can find another bottle. Couldn't find a bottle, but I found another mold killer. Smells like pure bleach. Well, I guess my dreams of laying floor that day were gone. I had moldy baseboards, moldy wood frames, so I went to Lowe's to get some 2x4 so that I could rebuild the framing under the tub. Come on, Misty. You gonna help? No? You're just gonna demand that I throw that stick. What about these sticks? These are big sticks. I'll throw that stick, I promise, but let me put this down first. Good girl. That way. Good girl. You're such a good girl. Don't bite the stick. Before I took the framing out, I needed to cut some temporary support to go under the tub. Each board had like a million nails, so I used the reciprocating saw to take them out. What are you doing here? Hi, Misty. Hello, Misty. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Did you find her?
Oh my goodness. I know. Do you want to help me here? It's loud. It's too loud. I think it's too loud for you.
You might hurt your ears. I think you should go home to your mama.
Yeah, you should go home to your mama. Go play with the cats. They'll love it. I was not having much luck with the reciprocating saw, and I couldn't get to certain angles with it, so I used a circular saw instead. Wish I would have seen that screw. Okay, well, no more moldy board. Yeah, I think if I take those out, clean it really good, let it dry, and build this back up, we should be back in business. It doesn't look like it spread too much. I think I got lucky.
Well, I personally feel like calling this situation lucky is a stretch, but it could have been worse.
I mean, it could have been worse. I wish it would have been better. I wish I wasn't doing this at all. Yay. Some of the angles were a little tricky to get the wood out. Nope. Oh. I can't put my head there. There's like nails sticking out.
Sounds like you're giving birth down there.
Don't make me laugh.
Come on, give me a big push or a pull.
Stop making me laugh. Come on, you.
That's what my mother said when she was trying to give birth to me also. And that, my friends, is how a DIYer is born.
I don't know. Yep. Oh, there we go. Ew. Ugh. It's wet.
Ew.
Whew. And that right there is the problem.
Woo!
Now that the emergency had been taken care of, I could move forward and take out the rest of the trim. I used a utility knife to cut through the caulking first, then pull them out with a pry bar.
Should we remove the toilet paper?
That?
No, the toilet paper.
No. Why?
So nobody gets confused
About what?
about using the toilet.
Will you get confused? Because I'm pretty clear about which toilet I can use and which one I can't.
I just feel like you shouldn't have toilet paper in a
Take the
construction
toilet
zone. Okay? It's just.
Happy?
I'm not unhappy.
No more surprises yet. I took out the ones that did have water damage. They weren't too bad, so.
Did you just break it?
I was supposed to do the utility knife thing. That's why you use a utility knife, is make sure you peel the paint off. If you don't. Okay, please stop breaking. There. I think I have a couple more little pieces and I am done with the trim, and then I'm gonna do a pretty good clean. I'm gonna spray mold killer in all of the wet areas, and it should be dry by tomorrow. And I think I can continue. So I got the emergency taken care of. Everything's dry. I took a moisture meter and checked everything, the floors. I made holes and opened up the vinyl under there to make sure the subfloor was fine, and everything's good. I'm so glad. So I cut the pieces of the framing, and I'm embarrassed to tell you how long that took me. For some reason, I could not get these angles to line up, even though I cut it exactly to the same size they used to be. But I'm not going to permanently build that frame yet, because I still need the plumbers to come and fix that leak, and they gotta come when they come do the toilet. So I'm gonna move forward with the floors because I have everything marked where everything goes, and one thing shouldn't affect the other. I can rebuild this after the floors is done. And that will probably be also after the bedroom is done, because once I'm done with these floors, I'm going back to the bedroom. I almost regret starting this project, but it was a good thing because I found a leak, and the longer you wait on a leak, the worse it gets. So, you know, I'm not gonna complain. Look at that color. Isn't it nice? Also, let's talk about the size of this plant. Plank is taller than me. I've never installed a floor that each plank is taller than me. They're usually a lot smaller. I decided to start laying floors in the little awkward spot between the vanity and the tub, and I will say the wall being removed made it so much easier, but it didn't take long before I had to do the first of many custom cuts. I have my first 2 pieces there, and now I have to go around the cabinet there. I used a scrap piece where I needed to cut. I made sure there was a 1/4 inch gap all around each plank. I laid it on top of a full plank to mark the part that's being cut out. I used a T-square to finish marking the plank, and then I used a jigsaw since I had to cut it in an L shape. Even though I did a good job cutting it correctly the first time, I don't like how thin it is. So I'm gonna cut it again, but just a little bit thicker. I don't like thin strips because they can be flimsy. Also, sometimes they're tricky to lock together. So just to be safe, I'm gonna make it a little bit thicker. So I used the old piece as a template. I just made it slightly bigger. I knew there was going to be drywall or some sort of paneling in front of the tub, so I left about 1/4 of an inch gap to account for that. I used a scrap piece of flooring as a guide to cut the door jamb so the plank can slide underneath. The reason you always want to leave about 1/4 of an inch gap between the wall and your vinyl planks is because the floor needs a little room to expand and contract with the changes in temperature and humidity. If you don't leave that gap, the floor can buckle or pop up over time. Finally, it feels like I have a plank in. I still have one more challenging spot before I can do like straight planks where it gets a little easier. It's this over here. This is the carpet that is in our bedroom, and I'll be laying the same floors there, but there's going to be a transition in between. I should have done this during the prep process, but I totally forgot. Time for a template. Ideally, I would love to run the flooring straight into the bedroom with no transition, but this is a manufactured home. Most people call them mobile homes, and these get fabricated in a factory, then delivered in 2 pieces and put together. So there's a huge seam in the middle of the house, and this is what part of that seam is. So it's not a good idea to run flooring straight across because that seam expands and contracts with the temperature and humidity. I feel like I barely got anything done. This took me like 4 hours, and I feel like that's a lot, but it was very tedious. But I think that's one of the hardest parts until I get to this door jamb in that corner by the shower there. But at least now I get to do the easy-ish part, and I get to tell you about this floor. Now that I've gotten this far, let me tell you about Florid because I've been seriously blown away by the quality. Florid is a direct-to-consumer brand, so they cut out the middleman and they deliver top-quality flooring straight to your door. No more multiple trips to the store, no more awkward carts full of planks. Just order and done. They have one-on-one support with representatives who are experts on all things Florid. One of the main questions I had before I started installing this floor was whether or not I could install it on top of the sheet vinyl that was already on the bathroom, because I didn't want to remove it if I didn't have to. And they were very helpful. They said there's absolutely no problem. Nice, very nice. As long as the floors are leveled and in good condition, I could install it right on top of it. And this floor is perfectly level everything's good. And I'm so glad because that's less work for me. The color I went with is called Nakan from the Modine Rigid Vinyl Plank collection. I chose Nakan because it's really close to the flooring I already have in the main areas of my house, and I wanted to keep the color consistent throughout the home. It's got that nice natural wood look that just works with everything. And let me tell you, these planks are hands down the best I've ever worked with. The quality is amazing and they're 100% waterproof, which if you're doing a bathroom and dealing with these kind of problems, that's really important. When installed properly, the click lock mechanism even prevents standing water from reaching your subfloor for up to 72 hours, which is usually long enough for it to evaporate. They also come with a 20 to 40 mil wear layer, which is nearly triple the industry standard. Like, these things are made to last. Oh, and the size of the planks, I love how big the planks are. It makes a difference when you're doing a larger space. Fewer pieces, fewer cuts, and the install goes faster. That's assuming you don't have a million angles like I do right now. But overall, for most rooms, yes, that would be the case. Flora keeps homeowners in mind, so it's designed to be DIY friendly. And if you're not sure what color to go with, they have sample kits you can try first, which is super helpful when you're trying to match the rest of your space. And since Florid is sponsoring this video, right now they're offering 50% off your sample order using code DIYTiffFlorid. So go check them out, and thank you Florid for sponsoring this video. Now I gotta finish the rest of this floor. I feel like I made a dent. So this is how far 4 hours got me today versus the 4 hours yesterday. But I think I'm gonna spend the next 4 hours on this little section over here by the door jambs of the closet. Ay, ay, ay. I couldn't continue the flooring straight into the bedroom, but I did want it to flow seamlessly into the closet. Cutting around the door jambs though was tricky, but I was determined to make it work using the best method I know, making templates. Normally, I use simple cardboard because I always have a ton of it around, but for more complex shapes, I needed something sturdier, and a lot of you have actually recommended poster board. So first, I made a rough template out of cardboard, and once I got it close, I transferred that onto poster board to get a cleaner, more accurate fit for the final cut. And yes, this is tedious. It's time consuming doing a template of the template, but imagine me messing up the floor over and over when floors are pricey. So I really wanted to get this right on the first cut. So I gotta take that trim out so that little bit can go under the trim. So the problem with going into the closet is that I have to undo the trim I just did a few weeks ago. Also, I almost sat down on that and it made a hole in my pants, like right here. I have a hole right there. I'm pointing it out because if you see it, that's what happened, and I don't feel like changing my pants. I'm also very upset because these are one of my favorite pants. I wish I could tell you the trim came out easily, but no, some of it came out in pieces. That's what I get for not thinking ahead. I knew that I was gonna do the floors here, but I just didn't know when. The plank is so big that my miter saw doesn't cut it all the way.
She's back in the closet.
Temporarily. Now, let's see if I can get this to lock. I wish I was exaggerating when I say that working around this door jamb took hours. Between making templates and carefully cutting them to fit around the door jamb, and at the end, I don't think what I'm trying to do is possible. And if it is, I can't figure it out. Here's the problem. So, when I try to put this in, it breaks here. Now the floor is rigid, which means I need this to bend somehow to go in there, and the floor is not gonna be flexible at all. The reason I even got this in is because this is breaking, it's ripping, like it's probably gonna be in 2 pieces here in a minute. I'm still trying to make it work, but I just don't think it will. It's too odd of a shape. And yes, I looked up tutorials. The chances of someone having the layout that I have is very small. Most people going around door jambs have a straight wall going bloop that way. So they don't have to deal with an angle going that way and another angle here. I have an angle right here and I have an angle right here and this weird shape trying to like go in there. I just don't think it's gonna work. I'm scared to try to force the plank in and damage it. Also, I won't be able to lock it properly, which means I will have to glue it. It's on the instructions that I can do that. Like if I can't lift the plank enough to be able to lock it, I can just glue it. But I am scared that it's not gonna work, and then that means I would ruin this plank. And then I'll have to take this plank out, that plank out. I've been here for a while trying to figure this out, and I think I'm gonna give up. I'm just gonna put a transition. I feel terrible that after spending so much time trying to figure this out, I'm just gonna give up. And I'm not going to take that floor out, so I'm just literally gonna cut it to fit the transition. I have that perfectly in place right now. It will be a nightmare trying to take it out. I was feeling pretty defeated the night before, so I decided to just call it and try it again the next day. While I was staring at it and questioning all my life choices, I realized that it technically could have been possible to run the floors continuously if I put the seam of the planks right in the middle of the door jamb. I did this successfully in the guest bedroom when I went into the closet. I think that's gonna work, but I gotta cut that. But I was so worried about the layout around the edges and around the toilet that I did not think of how it would land in the closet. It's very hard to cut a straight line with this. I can't see what I'm cutting at all. I hope I didn't cut way too much there. Trying to fix it at this point would have meant ripping everything I had already finished, and I wasn't willing to do that. It might still be good. I think the transition's gonna cover it, barely. All right, tilt and push.
Okay, and push.
I'm not even kidding. Almost every single cut was a custom cut because of the weird layout. The angles weren't regular 45s either, so I had to measure every piece individually. Every single cut was different, and it was so tedious. It felt like it was taking me forever just to finish this bathroom. But honestly, I'm betting that when I get to my bedroom, which is at least twice the size of this bathroom, I'll actually be able to knock it out faster. When I started laying the floors, I looked up whether I was supposed to run the flooring under the toilet flange or just cut around it. I found all kinds of conflicting answers, but the main thing I kept seeing was lay it under the flange. So I called my plumber to double check, and yep, he said under the flange. I just got done cutting and putting in the last little piece because I messed it up last night, and I convinced Tony to help me paint the trim. Hopefully that's going well.
Welcome to Painting with Tony, where you are going to paint with Tony. We only about 45% know what we're doing, but we can figure this out together. I've seen Tiffany do this before, so and now we do a stir in. Good soup. I am already dirty. Dab, 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 dab. And we do a painting. See, nothing bad has happened yet. We just painting happy little clouds. I did the same thing she always does. I started on the one closest to me. This is gonna become a problem. I'll figure it out. I am not worried at all about making any mistakes. There are no mistakes, only happy accidents, in the words of the great Bob Ross. Maybe we'll paint some little trees, maybe some mountains. Yeah. And a herd of unicorns running below in the valley. Happy little unicorns, all playing and dancing to their own music, like me. Hi, Tiffany.
Am I interrupting?
No.
Okay. Can I cut some wood?
Yes. You already got dust on my
I somehow got paint on me. How did that even happen?
I made a mess over there. I think I'm gonna paint a dragon on this one. Big, beautiful, fire-breathing dragon that protects the library. So nobody can put where I can't get to my books.
This is the bathroom trim.
Then he's protecting you while you take a poop. Because it's important to feel safe when you're pooping. And the unicorns are so that your poop will always be sparkly and full of glitter. And smell like cheesecake. Behold my masterpiece!
Good? I like it.
Yeah?
Yes. Now we wait and come back for the second coat. So for the trim here, I'm using a PVC trim. I always like to use PVC trim by the tub or the shower because this is where mostly water splash out when you get out of the shower and stuff. So I like using PVC, but I don't want to nail into the shower. What I like to use is this tub surround glue, and I could not find a smaller thing of it, so I had to buy a whole tube. It's made for plastics like PVC. So that's why it works so well. I'll put some blue tape just to hold it in place, but the other reason I like this glue is because it's just when you put it in, it just holds in place. I took measurements of the rest of the walls and cut all the trim to size. These are actually plastic or PVC also. I just happened to find a color that was close to the cabinet, so I'm gonna glue them. Maybe I'll do like a couple nails here and there. I covered the nail holes with fast drying spackle, did some quick touch-up paint once it dried, and then finish it off with white caulk along the top of the molding. The caulking gives the trim that nice clean look and keeps the moisture out. One thing I like to do in bathrooms especially is I like to do clear caulking at the bottom of all the trim, especially where there might be water, like the shower, you know, the toilet, all of that. I'm actually gonna do it all around the bathroom to seal it, so in case there's water, it doesn't go under the trim. The reason I do clear caulking and not white is because the floor is texture. So if you do white caulking, it doesn't look smooth. But yeah, I just have to do the clear caulking all around and I'll be done. Plumber's gonna be here tomorrow. It looks white, but it does dry out clear. So you see how you can see the white in there, like in the texture of the floor? Well, that'll dry out clear, so it won't be a problem, but if you were to do white caulking, that would be noticeable. All done. Plumbers are gonna be here tomorrow, and I'm so glad I got the flooring done on time because I really wanted that toilet installed and working. I don't like having one toilet in the house.
You would not believe the motherload I just dropped.
It's always nice to have 2 working toilets in the house. But obviously the tub is gonna be a project for later. I will be redoing this bathroom, but that will be after the bedroom. I already started the bedroom. If I knew that I had this problem, this leaking problem here, I would have. I'm going back to the bedroom, and once I'm done with that, then I'll come back here and finish everything. Thank you patrons and members for your support. You're awesome, and I will see you all in the next video.